summer for me. I know a few of you still have a few more weeks, and probably the last thing you want to be thinking about is school next year. But I'd like to tell you, when you reflect on this year and you kind of got in your mind what ideas you have for next year, you're actually more relaxed during the summer because you know what's possible and what problems you're going to solve. That doesn't mean you need to do anything now, because when you know what's possible and when fall comes around, then you start getting into those things that you had some great ideas about. So that's what we're doing today. We are sharing with you some great ideas for how you can use Spaces. Spaces is a great platform for you to interact with students, provide feedback. It works really well with standard space grading. And we've had a lot of teachers using it this year, and the vibe is hot. Like, people are excited about it. Just focusing more on interacting with students than focusing on grades always warms my heart. And so Spaces is one of those things that makes me really excited. And I have some guests today to talk about some highlights of how they use Spaces. And remember, we're just giving you some ideas to think about so that when the fall comes around, like, that's the kind of stuff I want to do in my classroom. So we have educator extraordinaire Dean Gainey, who's going to share with us some ideas for how he thinks you can use Spaces. Well, how do you use Spaces this year, Dean?
Hey, Alice, absolutely. And so one of the biggest things that I feel like Spaces had to offer was, like you said, the opportunity to interact with students, whether you're doing that while you're in the live classroom space or if you're doing that asynchronously. And so one of the things we did on a daily basis was the quote of the day. And every single day, there was a specific quote that I was able to identify with students. Sometimes it was something that they came up with. Sometimes it was a quote that was generated by me, pulled from the internet, Google searched, or even from 365 Days of Wonder. And so we had a live discussion in the classroom. We also had the discussion in the Spaces feed or posts, if you will, where they were able to interact with other students,
If I could
respond
just
to each other.
interject for a second. For those of you who are new to Spaces, think about Facebook for your classroom, that it creates a safe social space that's designed for education. So you've got this feed where he can post his quote of the day and you can have interactions on it. I mean, if you get Facebook, you kind of get what Spaces does. Would you agree with that, Dean?
I would absolutely agree. And as we know, kids are so familiar with social media anyway. So it's a perfect opportunity for you to use it for good, for education purposes, for interactions as well. Another thing we did was novel study using the group space. We were at where you're able to group students into small group scenarios where they're able to discuss and interact amongst themselves, which proved really useful for
Now, is
working
this
together.
in person, virtual,
Well,
hybrid?
this is virtual. However, in certain cases, I had both hybrid and virtual students. So whether they're sitting in the classroom or sitting at home, they're still able to collaborate in that group space. And it was really good because maybe what they were missing if they weren't physically there, they still kind of felt like they were involved and were able to interact from that virtual space too.
I'm doing a
Um,
keynote this week. I'm going to be going to Breckenridge. And one of the things I want to talk about is the changes that we're not going back. Like, we learned so much, the world's changed in some ways, and how can we do this better? And I think one of the things is we really learned that there is some room for virtual space, for that flexibility, that not all students learn the same way and the same timetables. I know that virtual spaces and the ability to interact digitally gives our quiet students a voice, where some, like my kids, suffer from anxiety and they would just don't like to raise their hand in class, but you give them an opportunity to respond in a digital format, they really are able to show off what they know. And so having that hybrid, even when you're not hybrid, but having a blended classroom where you integrate spaces, I think is one of the ways that we don't go back, that we take the best of and move forward.
Absolutely. And I think that you're as the teacher, you're able to even dig a little bit deeper with your students too, asking those probing questions, making them think a little bit deeper about the topics that you want them to focus on. The last thing I would mention is the individual space. The beauty of the individual space, the student themselves identifying one student at a time. You can structure an individual space where you can challenge them to be reflective, to sort of think about their learning and how it has grown over the course of the year. And so they get a chance to talk to you in a personal space. And I tend to believe that reflection is certainly a very profitable form of learning for
It
students. And
is
so we use it for that too.
so important. I would feel that no lesson's complete without reflecting. I think sometimes what we get the most out of a lesson is the reflection we do after it. So you could like get it wrong and not do it right, but your reflection shows that you really did learn it and gives you that second chance to come back. So Spaces is a great way to allow students to have that reflection and get that individual feedback from you, even if you're in person, right?
Absolutely. And it sort of reinforces the whole idea of growth versus just a focus on grades. I mean, grades obviously serve their purpose for certain districts and certain schools, but growth should be our focus, right? And so that's what we get to take away from using a platform like Spaces.
Yeah, if I have to hear learning loss one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. We don't need to talk about learning loss. Like everyone has such great talents that may or may not be expressed. I was reading an article today. I think it was by Rick Romelli. It might have been Thomas Gusky. I was doing a little SBG research, and those are two of my favorite SBG guys. And they were talking about it was Gusky. It was Gusky for sure, right? Is when we only assess one way, when we only give people an opportunity to take a test, that may not be their best way to express the learning. So is that test accurate reflection of what they know? And so Spaces is one of those ways that if you are doing projects, if you are doing reflection, there's other ways to assess and interact with students that you can look for growth over just individual metric numbers from a benchmark test that's frankly pretty impersonal.
Absolutely. And that opportunity to give them the choice, because there's all these options, right? What works best for you?
Totally. Well, thanks for sharing these, Dean. And I am excited to hear how you're using Spaces next year. Obviously, you're about ready to go somewhere. So I really appreciate your time to come and chat about reflecting on your year, things that you're going to do again, right? You're going to do individual spaces, group spaces, looking for those growth opportunities. And I love that part where you're sharing quotes and giving students an opportunity to interact without having to raise their hands. So you can hear from everybody. What a wonderful tool. So thanks for joining. Any last minute comments?
No, not really, other than I'm looking forward to the next school year and being able to start from the beginning with Spaces.
Right. And so that's why we're here, right? It's so much better when you can start from the beginning. So before you go to the beach, get your flip-flops on, just take a moment to reflect over this last year and think, how did you want to interact better with students? And maybe Spaces is something you want to start your year off with. That's it. Just setting a goal. What are our goals for next year? Is to look at growth over grades and have personal interactions. And we're going to check out Spaces at the beginning of the school year. Well, thanks for joining, and I hope you have a safe drive. Our next guest that I have with me is one of my favorite people, Melody McAllister, who lives in Alaska, and I don't anymore. Wish I did. So
I wish you did too. And Dean, if you can hear me, thank you so much for joining.
Yes, Dean.
Yes, Dean is a power user of Spaces. He is also a good friend of mine. And it's been amazing to learn more about it from him and his perspective. He's just a wonderful teacher. Yeah. And so thanks so much, Alice, for letting me come back on. I love going live with you. You have such a wonderful personality and you have a great audience. So thank you so much.
Well, I'm on summer break, so I'm in a good mood.
Right. And I'm tan and I'm in Alaska, so I'm in a good mood.
I know. I was wondering, how do you have such a glow right now?
I sit outside, and get sun. I mean, literally, that's what I do.
I realize
I play basketball.
In the snow.
I do get sunburned as well. Yes. Yeah. And I have redheads, they get sunburned. But anyway, if you are here to learn a little bit more about Spaces, first of all, I am the community educator advocate. So it is part of I work with Spaces and I am helping with the community. So if you see that little ticker on the bottom, facebook.com/groups/Spaces.edu, I would love for you to be a part of our community. Alice is a part of our community. Dean is a part of our community, and we're just missing you. So please And we have educators that from all different levels. We have educators that are standard-based grading experts or just learning how to do it. We have people that are
To be
deep
clear,
in
though,
reflection.
Space is a great place. If you are standard space, it's not a standard space product. Is that correct?
It's actually getting closer. This summer, before school starts back up, we're actually going to be we're going to have some proficiency skills. So if
Nice.
standards-based grading really is
You
your
don't have
jam,
to be SVG to use
no,
spaces. It supports
right.
it.
Yeah, nope. It's for everyone. And we're always growing. We're always looking for the like, how can we make educators' life easier? How can we make teaching easier? We're looking for feedback all the time. So that's another wonderful thing about being part of our community. We are a new company, and so we are listening and we want that feedback. So, and we usually give $25 gift cards to people that spend time talking about our products. So if you want to be a part of our community, we are not just takers, we are givers. We plug into educators' lives and really show up and help them grow. You're going to be at ISTE soon. Yes.
I am going to ISTE. I'm
yes.
very excited.
And I know that you're going to be at the amazing Schoolitics booth. Yes.
Schoolitics booth, I will, but I'm going to stop by your Spaces booth and hopefully we'll have some people visit both of us. So please come on by.
Yes, I love it. And Schoolitics is an amazing product, and Spaces will be at booth 1549. And so we will definitely, we've gone to a lot of conferences already, starting with FETC. So if you're going to be at conferences or you know of a conference, I am the person. Let me know. We signed up for the Silver State Technology Conference. That's going to be in Vegas in September. We're so excited to be there. And we're
I love Vegas.
Yes, we're going to be in San Diego. We just have so many places we're going. So please always look for us. Yes, thank you. Booth 1549. Oh, and 2343. And I will come visit you at school, Schoolitics as well. Is it Schoolitics or Schoolology?
Oh.
Oh.
Well, that's embarrassing.
I'm sorry, I thought maybe I said it wrong. Because I could have. I'm creepy.
I was looking at I was looking for the booth number on my Twitter feed, and someone had tweeted about Schoology right under it. No, we are a Google Classroom integration. We do have Schoology integration coming soon to Schoolitics, so it is always on my mind. Yep.
Right. And so also, is it okay if I share screen?
Please do. That would be great.
Awesome. So I'm going to take the banner off and I am going to share. If you are new to Spaces, we are free for educators. If your school ever wanted to adopt us or your district, that's who gets to pay for it, not you as the teacher. So I think I shared I didn't share screen. Okay, share screen.
You got to add it up into the. I don't know.
I have to go back to my preferences.
Always struggling.
So that was something I didn't do
with a different account. So apologies for that. Melody has her own StreamYard, and we're using my StreamYard. So I made her log in with a different account than she normally uses, so she doesn't have all of her resources.
Right, but it's all good. At least go to facebook.com/groups.spaces.edu. We would love for you to be a part of our community. And again, if you wanted to go, and I'll drop the link for Spaces. It is actually a free educator. You can. I'm doing too many things at once. But if you were to, as a teacher, just want to sample it, want to use it, you can sign up for free, and there's no obligation or anything like that. So it may be something that you love, you want to share with your colleagues. And if you ever wanted to do a lunch and learn, we would love to train anybody that wanted to do that. We also provide the lunch. We're just like new in the scene. Somebody gave us feedback today that we're so easy to use, and we've grown so much in the last year. And I thought that was pretty cool. We really have.
I really loved how easy it was to just add video feedback right into the platform. So I know we did some challenges this summer with some teachers, and it's just so great to see people's face and be able to have a little video message. I posted some video messages, and I was able to respond in comments with video. And that's just it's built right into the platform.
Yes.
I can see that you are typing something.
I am typing. And I can never do it right when I'm in, a free teacher account. Okay, I'm dropping the link if you wanted to check it out for free. Again, no obligation, and we'd love to hear your feedback. And yes, Alice, we have so many of our the tools in our platform. So the tools in our platform, like if you wanted to create a video, take pictures, upload your anything from Google Suite or Microsoft, you can do all of that in the platform. So you don't need outside platforms. That's what's really cool about it. But you also can use, if you are a lover of ed tech, you can use your favorite ed tech tools along with it. It complements everything. It also complements Google Classroom. A lot of people said, why would I need this and Google Classroom? Well, this complements Google Classroom in a lot of ways where
I can
you
give
can
video
contact.
feedback.
I have video feed. Oh yeah.
Spaces.
I thought you were telling me I had
really
video
nice
like,
features that Classroom lacks.
yeah, you can talk with parents, keep them involved. The feedback, the loop is just constant, and students get to do it, and teachers in a way that they prefer. What is their strength? Whether they want to type it, whether they want to add audio or video, you can use. We all know that we don't always have like readers that are on the level of our grade. It doesn't matter what grade you're teaching. There are going to be students that struggle with reading.
Yeah.
So we have tools that help differentiation. You can always add the audio feature so that not everybody, and that can be how they give you feedback as well. So I love it. It has so many features and couldn't go into them all today.
Was it Maddie who made the book report?
Yeah, actually it was all of my kids, but
yes.
And you know what? I'll drop the link. Even though I can't share my screen right now, I can at least drop the link for other teachers. This is what other teachers think. It's weird.
Let me pull up, see if I can do it from my, I don't like to show kids' names, so I'm going to do it from my PD account. So it won't have.
Oh, you could, if you're still in the Spring for Spaces, if you wanted to show that one.
I'll look that up. So go ahead, I'll share my screen. So again, I don't want to share students, so I'm just going to do this with ones that I did with teachers to give you kind of an idea. So this is the spacesedu.com, easy to find. And I'm going to go ahead and log in. And of course, I'm going to log in with my Google account. Here we go, easy peasy. So I'm right in there. So you can see here as it is loading that it has a feed like Facebook. Of course, we are streaming at the same time. I'm trying to load this and my Kansas internet struggling to keep up. But it's so simple. Like, add a comment. Hi, everyone. You can see
those little,
go ahead.
Those little options at where it says comment, you can choose how you want to comment. You can record your voice. That's what the microphone is. You can record your whole video. Like, yeah.
Hi, I'm so excited for summer and to share ideas for the fall. Look how easy that was. It's very intuitive.
Yeah. And then once you start inviting your students, you can have, like we talked about, the group spaces where if you're really into project-based learning, it's perfect for that. Or if you just have a lot of group activities. I was even thinking, I taught first grade and I taught fifth grade a lot. When we have your reading, especially your reading intervention, you can, make those group learning times extend. Or even if you're with your highest level learners, and those were always my highest level readers were always the readers that I didn't get to spend as much time with in the classroom in small groups. So this would even be a way to extend whatever you're talking about. Even if you can't meet with them in the daytime, you can still keep those conversations going. And I love the individual space. I have two on that class. One was for sharing resources, and another one was just for reflection. Because on those individual spaces, that's where teachers and students share one-on-one, and nobody else but the teacher and the student. And if you connect the family, if the family's connected, they can see it too. But it's a really private space where students, and we've talked about this before, Alice, where there are a lot of students that don't feel comfortable speaking up or talking in class, and those are usually the ones that are ignored. So this does give the opportunity for all students to share what they know and what they're learning.
Yeah, totally. I just love this individual space. Like, with your readers, they can record themselves reading.
Yes. That's what my first grader did. I struggled all year long. I thought, and I was her teacher, guys. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm wondering if she has like some, do I need to get her diagnosed with dyslexia? Because she's just not picking it up like my other kids did, and I've taught different grade levels. And so I knew something was not completely right. But what I started doing was started taking samples of her reading in the camera in her personal space. And we had another teacher that was with us so that they could see what was going on as well. And then she started to record herself as well. So sometimes I added to her personal space and sometimes she did. And so students can also contribute to their own, their own profile, their own learning artifacts. And so go ahead.
I was wondering if these recordings of her reading helped her to reflect on her reading habits.
Well, what happened was once we started doing this, we started seeing that she was growing, and she feels so much more confident. So yes, it like really made a difference. And it was, instead of just being doubtful and afraid as her teacher, I could see where she was growing. And I had put in there, I would put my own anecdotal information that she still struggled with sounding out words. She struggled with confidence. And so my own anecdotal notes are that like I could answer and talk about that over time, how it was changing. So when we talk about assessment, what truer assessment to show growth can you get than a student who is able to upload their own reading and just read right into a camera and show how confident they are getting over time. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have some highlights. You can't screen share. I know you had some stuff.
I dropped it in the link. If you want to see what other teachers are saying, I dropped the link in the comments, and you can check out
private chat because I can't copy it.
Oh, do you want to show it?
If you could drop it in the private chat, I'll show it.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. We can do that. You make everything happen.
I'm really good with Control T. Control T, new tab. Look at that.
Boom. I love it.
Okay, here it is. Yeah, when it's in the other one, it won't let me highlight it very well.
So I meant to wear I was looking for my helmet, my astronaut helmet to wear today because we're the spaces. So we call it ourselves the space astronauts.
But I couldn't find it. Spaces. I've seen my.
Oops, sorry. You there, Melody?
I'm here.
Okay, it didn't. I thought it was paused.
Is it?
You're going to wear a helmet?
Oh yeah. Well, I was just talking while we were waiting. I was going to wear my astronaut helmet, but I couldn't find it. I'm so disappointed.
That is disappointment. All right, so I'm going to play this. Ready?
Yeah.
Grade 3 students become very accountable for their work. They know that their parents are going to see photos and different evidence of their learning through spaces. And so they are more accountable of the work that they are doing. And they also engage on spaces with their parents, commenting and having conversations about their learning, which is huge, I think, especially for those families that might not all live together. I can include all parents and guardians on their space, and then they can see what is going on with their kid, even though they might not be having those conversations around the dinner table in the evening. Everybody knows what we're doing in class, and the kids are accountable for their work and their learning.
And in the beginning, they had small baby steps and they needed some guidance as expected in using spaces. And now as we near the end and the last leg of the run here in grade 4, I just have so much pride in their ability to be able to use spaces on their own independently and make meaningful reflections, both in written or typed reflection or videos on some of the learning that they have been doing. So
one of the most incredible moments of growth I've seen is when every single student, it seamlessly uploaded their assignment to activities and then went in after I'd marked it to look at their feedback. That was really exciting. Took away a lot of time it would have taken me in the classroom. So once every single kid figured out how to do that, it was a really awesome moment and they were really proud of themselves.
So my target audience for using spaces are pre-service teachers in secondary STEM, and I used it specifically to have them identify their professional learning goals, their personal professional learning goals in their teaching journey, and we were able to use a class feed to get some conversation and engagement, and then we were also able to use the individual spaces to document their personal growth towards their specific learning goals. I invited other stakeholders such as their supervisors, mentors, mentor teachers, and to get them to collaborate with them and offer some feedback on their goals. And we were able to upload videos and pictures, things like that, and it really showed the students their progress along the way.
Or on their social emotional learning as well. The videos that they've done pictorially, the different ways that they can show their learning has just been amazing to see. So super happy and very proud of them. And Spaces has given them the ability to do that. So great job.
Okay, cool.
Yay, thank you for sharing that and making
Yeah,
it away.
was the sound okay?
Yeah, I thought it sounded okay.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, and I know everybody is, probably tired. It is the end of the year. I know that there are some teachers in our community that have a month left of school, though. So for those of you, I can't even imagine how hard it is to keep going when a lot of your friends are already off. I also wanted to talk just about our Growth Over Grades podcast. I'm going to drop the one I just completed with Dr. Sarah Thomas yesterday.
I love Sarah.
Yes, and hopefully Alice will come on too at some point.
Of course.
And anyway, we just talk about the different, the different ideas and topics that really resonate with our community. And Dr. Sarah Thomas is an amazing community builder. So that's what we talked about yesterday. And it's on a video, but also a podcast. And Dean, he is a reflector like crazy. I've never known somebody to reflect. He was our first episode a couple of weeks ago. So you can also find our Growth Over Grades podcast, because that's what we are cheering on. We want, and Alice, I know that you're a proponent of growth over grades as well. So thanks for being our champion. You guys are amazing. Hey, Rochelle.
Hey, Rochelle's here. Rochelle and I are hanging out at the Inedco conference coming up.
And she's going to come to our ISTE booth and sign books. And we, you can come and get a signed book for free. It is on us as the Spaces team. Rochelle is an active party. Sorry, I'm not drinking, I swear. Rochelle is an active community member. She uses Spaces in her classroom as well. And so hopefully she will, what is she saying? Yes. So you get to see Alice before you see me, but I've got to see Rochelle a lot this year because of the conferences. So if you are going to be at any conferences coming up, please look for the Spaces booth. We would love to see you in person. We'd love for you to be in our community. And we just, love to see what is important to you as a teacher, and if we can be a solution for you. And this is a great tool, a teaching tool for whatever classroom you're in, whether it's virtual, whether it's face-to-face, or a combination of both. It's a great tool to have.
Great. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining in. Thanks to Melody for being here. And Dean, what a treat to have you join us, even though I know that you were on the run. So thanks for making time for us. And I hope everybody just has a great summer and is ready to think in the fall, how can I use Spaces to how I can have a better year of interacting with my students? So have a great evening, everybody. Bye.
Have a totally rad summer, everyone. See you again soon. Bye.